A.K. Kamara, conservative online opinion neighbor, joins me, Jon Justice, in studio here on Twin Cities News Talk.
Good morning.
This story here, when you look at, I remember back when I was younger, the controversy around an individual like Dr. Kevorkian.
Right.
Who would go and assist people in who were faced with terminal illness, and how that was deemed controversial. And there was a big question mark on what a monster potentially Dr. Kevorkian was. It was the butt of jokes. Yep. And yet look at where we've arrived now and what our own DFL is looking to go and push forward when the legislative session starts on February 11th. And it tells you just how much ground we have lost on almost all of the major issues that impact us on a daily basis in the country.
Yeah, so the story coming out of Canada is fascinating because one of the things that I have specifically talked about when it comes to any type of medical assistance in dying is that when you create a system that empowers a specific belief structure. So if you start to say that, life doesn't begin here, and now there's financial incentives, or life should end here, there's actual apparatus within institutions that will push towards that end. And so when you start to implement this medical assistance in dying and you continue to broaden it out, well, now you're finding out that there's institutions that are pushing people to actually say, I'm poor, I need some type of state assistance. And they're like, well, have you considered dying lately? Because that might be the actual solution to your problems. And this is actually what started happening in Canada, to the point that they open it up so wide that now you're having people that just simply need some medical help, some mental health help. And the suggestion coming from the government is, have you considered dying? There was a story that came out of the Netherlands, right? There's a 28-year-old Dutch girl that was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. And my wife brought this out to me. Shout out to Schmoopy yesterday we were eating. And when I mentioned the name of the syndrome, she's like, that was from the Golden Girls. Dorothy Spornak, she was diagnosed with that. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I looked it up, and sure as anything, that is true, that in the Golden Girls, one of the early episodes, she was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. And that was like in the beginning of the Golden Girls, right? And she went on to live a fulfilling life with the Golden Girls, right? Thank you for being a friend. But quite literally, and that's in 1989, that entire script is written, where in 2024, a 28-year-old with seemingly no other major physical conditions has chronic fatigue syndrome. She applies and is approved to have the state end her life in the Netherlands. And that's where we're at. And this is a trajectory you will always get to, because the system is incentivized to be able to end the lives of people that are the useless eaters of society. And that's what the end result always will be, is that you will say there are definitely a large line that will draw, that will cut off and separate society, that there's all of these people that no longer reach the level that their life has value anymore. And that's never a good thing for a civil society.
AK, before we let you go, where can people find you?
Yep, you can find me on X and Instagram and Facebook at Real AK Kamara, over on TikTok at AK Kamara, and over on YouTube, youtube.com/the @ AK Kamara. I put out some amazing videos. Make sure to go and check it out. I want to encourage every single person to stop calling illegal immigrants and instead call them criminal aliens, because then that actually better defines, because they'll say people aren't illegal. Well, criminal aliens are criminals, all right?
On tomorrow's show, why is Children's Minnesota displaying a pronoun galaxy? I'll give you details on that. Have a good rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you then. Bye.